Good morning. Hope you're all having a great start to your day. Today's Friday, July 23rd, 2021. We'll go ahead and get started, touch up on the overall market, go over our economic data, and get right into our main watch list. So I hope you guys are starting your day right. I've actually seen a few major companies report earnings into yesterday. Snapchat, Twitter. We're going to touch up on those in a second. But first of all, I want to touch up on forward/ES and what's going on in the overall market, on the broad market. So if you watch the American futures, they remain on the upside. Actually, the fourth day in a row where we see forward/ES come and approach that all-time high, right? If you see 43.83, all-time high is 43.8450. So seeing about a handle and a half move all the way retest right into that overnight session and pre-market session. Now, if you also watch the European indices, are actually bullish. And if you watch the Asian indices as well, closed in depressed order, and crude oil remains bullish. All right. So if you're touching up on the overall day, it's looking good. It's the end of the week on Friday. So make sure you're looking out for those weekly expirations, keeping data decay in mind and looking for next week contracts. Unless you're scalping weeklies, that's a different scenario. Now, let's get a little bit more into basics and touch up on forward/ES. If you guys are watching right now, we actually spent the overnight high. If you guys saw, it was 43.83. Retested that, and we started rejecting about an hour ago. Coming back to retest that primary support at 43.75. If you guys see, we actually build a little bit, about three handles over that 43.75 at 43.78. It's starting to buy back up again for a handle. Now, let's take our time today on the market. If you're watching that 43.60, I'll watch that as a primary support. 43.75 is my first level, and then I'm watching the 15 handles under, but I want to see how we base at that 43.60 range, right? Very, very important. If we pull back again right now, about 15 handles, retest at 43.60, we are looking at a slight downtrend on forward/ES, but anything can happen, right? We can come back, coil around, and retest 43.84 and take out the all-time high. But right now, just seeing how we're setting up, we might come back and retest that gap to the downside. So take your time on the market. We'll start watching under 43.60. We do have a nice range to 43.50 and 43.40, so it's 10 handles to the downside. If you go back to 2 days ago, that was actually the key level resistance we were watching into 2 days ago. So again, that level was actually broken and now is used as a level of support. Okay, so hope you guys have those levels lined out. Now let's get a little bit more in depth on what we're watching into this morning. Let me send you guys my watch list to start it off. First one I'll be watching is Facebook. Again, we did actually trade Facebook yesterday, had a great move on it. Was talking about that 350. Let me send you guys the levels first and then speak about the details. Was talking about that 350 range on Facebook, and we did have a nice move on it. Again, yesterday, congrats for the people that took on Facebook. Again, it did present itself in terms of risk reward. Cheap premiums, right? We had a nice uptrend, and if you saw the trade, it continuously kept pushing to the upside. So again, if at any point you see a trade presenting itself, triple R risk reward ratio is critical. But if the trade presents itself, make sure you're executing on it and making some money, right? And in Facebook sense, yesterday we had 347 was resistance. And the moment it took that out, we were looking for a 2-point scalp to 349. We actually got that 350 print for the people that stayed in. So congrats on that move. Now, let's get a little bit more in depth on how to move around Facebook today. If you guys see, watching 362.50, that's actually the pre-market high, and watching 360 as the primary support. So critical to actually take out that high, again, especially after an exhaustion move. After close yesterday, Snapchat reported positive earnings, beating across the board. So we actually did see the whole sector push to the upside, and that's why Facebook is up almost 10 or 11 points into this morning. Now, we'd love to buy this off of support. Right now, it's at 360, but understand that if it can't hold this support at 360, the next pullback would be 357, and it actually watch for a bounce trade at that range. If it actually pulls back to 357, that would be a more ideal entry than jumping the gun at the open and actually scalping some momentum, especially seeing the move it had in the pre-market session, right? So take your time on Facebook. If it does set up in terms of risk reward, absolutely make some money. But right now, seeing that 360 break is understandable. So I'll be looking for the bounce at 357. And if it holds 360, that is the ideal support in the pre-market session. But if it can't hold it, I'm not biased, right? We'll be taking that 3-point to the downside and watch for either a bounce at that 357 or a break, right? If it breaks under 357, we'll pull back to 352. So that's another 5-point gain. And we'll point it out for you guys if we get there. But again, we're looking real strong. Numbers are looking good. And again, Facebook reports earning on the 5th of August, if I'm not mistaken. Let me confirm it here with you guys. But yeah, I believe it's on the 5th of August. So we'll definitely keep a lookout for that in regards to Facebook. Now, let's touch up a little bit. Let me actually confirm it here because I had one of our members ask, yeah, July 28th. Okay, so it's actually coming up in 5 days, excuse me. So Beyond is the one that's reporting on the 5th of August. Facebook reports July 28th, excuse me. So it's good we corrected that right off the bat. Now, some people would play the run up into earnings, but again, not really what I'll be looking at. I'm looking at some momentum scalps into this morning, right? So that is Facebook. Now, let's move a little bit more into the second watch we have is Tesla. All right, we send you guys some Tesla news. All right, let me send you the levels. There we go, 652. So if you're watching Tesla, again, avoiding the chop, right? If you remember, 652 yesterday was a level where we saw actually both levels. We saw the break under 652. What happened? And we saw a reversal where it tried to hold over that 652. So we actually saw a push to 655. And again, that's almost a 3-point gain over that resistance level. Now, take your time on Tesla if it presents itself today. You're watching that 652 as an overhead resistance and 644 as support. I'm not trading the range in the middle because it's draining. It gets a little choppy. I'd rather trade either a break out of that 652 for a continuation play. And as you guys can see, it has room to 656 and potentially that 666 range. It's been beat down. But if it actually starts rejecting / is breaking to the downside, then I'm not biased on Tesla, right? I'll be looking at the downside. The break under 644 has room to 641. You can kind of see it in the pre-market session, so that would be a ideal quick scalp for entry. And then under 641, we'll pull back to 637. We'll be watching again order flow and tape telling the story to confirm all of that. So can't really go being biased on Tesla until you actually confirm that directional play through the order flow in the tape. Let me see, one of our good members mentioned Moderna. They got some news. Sir Quant, let me see. Last piece of news here rolled on Moderna. Let me see, they rolled something out. 908 conducting a phase 2 out of 3 study for its COVID-19 vaccine in children aged 6 months to less than 12 years. All right, Boston, thank you, Boston. Appreciate it with the piece of news rolled in. So that's a piece out here on Moderna right now. Again, already seeing an overextension move on Moderna. It's already overextended since yesterday. Let me see, it's 10 points, 324. PDC previous day close is 324. So yeah, it's about 10-point overextend. I mean, that's a massive exhaustion move in the pre-market. But I'll definitely consider Moderna in the second half of the day, just because I'm also watching Microsoft second half of the day. I want to send you guys actually what I have on Microsoft. Since we did send the main watch again into this morning is Facebook and Tesla. But I want to send you the prints I've seen on Microsoft, right? Let me send you guys this. All right, cool. Now, if you saw this print on Microsoft, again, I just want to point it out there. That's actually during the close that actually started coming in yesterday after market close. So if you notice the dark pool print, it's about 4:02 p.m. and 4:10. But somebody knows something, right? It's moving after hours. We saw a dark pool print again, showing us almost over 1 million shares getting filled at that price at 286.14, totaling over $200 million in premium. So just keep this on watch on Microsoft. It's a piece of dark pool that I noticed, and I want to point it out for you guys right now, so you guys have it kind of pointed out on your chart, right? So Microsoft definitely side watch today had a move, but I'm looking at 286, right? 286 is support and 289 is resistance. This is mostly for the people on voice rather than putting on the trade in the trading floor and draining the watch list. But I'll definitely be keeping this on watch, right? Insane dark pool print, notional value is huge. So 286 would be support and 289 would be my resistance. So that's in regards to Microsoft. Can't mention this and not point it out. Now, last but not least would be also my side watch would be CCIV. Piece of news rolled out again at the open right now. Let me send it to you guys here in the room. There it is, coming your way. So if you're watching CCIV, again, stockholders approved Lucid business combination. You can go ahead and read that piece of news. But again, it's some more updating on the voting towards the approval of the combination of Lucid Motors and CCIV. So I'll definitely be watching CCIV because I know it can run off of news like that. I've traded it prior. More of a momentum trade if this presents itself. But I'll be watching for the breakout of that $25 range if it does break out. I'll mention it for you guys in the trading floor if we get there. But I've been seeing it constantly reject every time we approach that $25 range. So I'm not biased on it, but this is really consolidating on the daily chart and might be setting for a big move soon. So we're not going to speculate, but rather react on this the moment it presents itself. All right, so take your time on the market. Facebook and Tesla, ideal setup, looking real nice. I'll be focusing on those to scalp some momentum. If you're watching Snapchat already in the pre-market session, it's already making a high at $75. So this needs a pullback, again, to retest that $70 range, almost a 5-point pullback. But if it takes on some momentum and rallies, you can see easily Snap push another 4 points, push easily to $78. Okay, so we'll be watching the market. We got 3 minutes till open. Again, quality setup, guys. Slow and steady wins the race. And again, if there's no ideal setups, no directional plays, cash is always a position. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Let's make some money, team. In and out, guys.